Hi and welcome back to my channel. I thought I would vlog today. I'm currently trying to put my apron on. It is Monday and it's about 11:30. So far today I have already done my zone cleaning and my weekly home blessing. If you missed my updated weekly home blessing video, I will leave that in the description box below in case you want to know what's involved with that. But now I am in the kitchen because I have a couple of things I want to do. The first thing is I'm going to make up a bulk amount of dumplings for my lunches. So I used to do this all the time. I even used to make my own dumpling dough, but I'm not going to be doing that today. I'm just going to be using some dumpling pastry. And I'll show you what I'm putting in them. Mike likes dumplings too, and the boys like them if they're not spicy, but it's not their favorite, but I love them. And I really like how economical they are because they really stretch out. You don't need a lot of ingredients in each dumpling. Really easy to freeze, and then I just steam them in a pan of water for a little bit and then fry them at the end just so they get a little bit crispy. That's how I like to eat them. So I'm gonna make some, and then this will last me for a good few lunches. So yeah, I'll show you what I'm going to put in them. So I'm using this dumpling pastry, and then you can use whatever you like really, but I like to use some ground chicken. I have a carrot that's been lying around in the fridge, so I'm going to grate that up. I'm going to put a little bit of soy sauce, some chili, some garlic and ginger, and then I really wanted chives, but apparently you can't get chives at the grocery store at the moment. So I just bought some spring onions. So I'm gonna chop this all up and make the dumplings, and I'll be able to have them for lunch today and put a lot of them in the freezer. And then after that, I'm gonna get dinner going in the slow cooker. So I will show you what we're having in the recipe for that once I've made the dumplings. Okay, so I kind of underestimated how many dumpling wrappers I would need. So I've made 26 dumplings, which I am going to put into the freezer. I put them on a baking sheet just to let them freeze, and then I transfer them into little bags or containers. So I'm going to eat some of these for lunch and put some in the freezer. I still have enough mixture to do at least another 26. So when I pick up the boys today, I will just run in and get another pack of the dumpling wrappers, and this is going to make a lot of lunches for me, so that's great. So yeah, I'm going to get the leftovers into the fridge, these into the freezer, and I'm going to make some so I can have them for lunch. So yeah, all I do is put a little bit of oil, maybe a teaspoon of oil into a pan, and then I would usually have probably 6, but today I'm going to have 8 because I got really hungry while I was making them. So I'm just going to put 8 into the pan here, and then I just put enough water in to kind of cover them halfway. I let that simmer until the water has all evaporated, and then I pan fry them for a little bit and they'll be ready to go. So I've got the dryer on, hopefully that's not too noisy, but this is how they look. I just put a little bit of extra green onion and soy sauce on there, and this is going to be such a delicious lunch. Let me know down in the comments if you think you might give homemade dumplings a try. They smell so good. So yeah, I'm going to eat these, and then I think it's a little bit early to put dinner in the slow cooker, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do next, but all I know is I'm going to eat these right now. Okay, so it's coffee time, and I thought I would show you that I've actually moved my coffee machine into my pantry. There's plenty of room for the coffee machine and the grinder. They used to be over there, but I'm just loving having empty counters. It makes it so much easier to wipe down at night, especially since they were kind of by the sink, so they would get splashed and things when I was doing the dishes. So now I just have completely clear counters, and I really love that. Ignore my washing, my never-ending washing. The other thing that I have changed is that I moved the island. It used to be in the center of the kitchen and I moved it over. I actually saw one of our neighbors had put an island in and they put it right up against the window, and it just made the kitchen seem a lot bigger. So what I've done is I've moved it back into the living area a little bit. It hasn't really made any difference to this side, but it's made a huge difference to the kitchen. I feel like there's just a lot more space now. There's a lot more room when you come in the door, so that's working really well. And then what I've done over here, so we didn't lose any of the seating area because we just put the stool on the other side, but here I just have my little trolley with all my knitting things on it, and I'll pull it out and show you what I've got on here. So I've talked before about minimalism and hobbies, and I think you can live a more minimal lifestyle and you can want to have less stuff and still enjoy hobbies and creative things. I think for me it's just about having a limit, like a parameter on how much of the stuff you can have. And especially living in this small space, I couldn't have a craft room or anything like that. Not that I would want to anyway, I don't think, but I have found a solution to give myself both a boundary of how much stuff I can have, but also make sure it's functional. So I just have this trolley. I will leave it linked down below. And up the top here, I just have 2 project bags. So I've showed these before, but I am trying to limit myself to 3 projects. And one of them is going to be a scrap blanket, which I talked about and I have started. That's going to take months, if not years, to finish. So really it's just 2 projects, I think. So I have the 2 bags up here, then this one, so that kind of limits me to how many projects I can have on the go. I do have a couple of spare bags down here, but I'm not sure if I'm going to keep them or not. I have my little embroidery, which I haven't really done a lot on, to be honest, because I'm just excited about my knitting and my sewing, but I definitely want to get to this. Then I just have my little pouch with my knitting needles in it, and then I just have a little plastic folder here with patterns. So that's all that's on the second row. And then down the bottom I have this little crate, and this is where I plan to keep any yarn that I'm not using, although I don't plan to buy yarn just because I like it. I only plan to buy it if I have a project for it. So all that's in there right now is 100% cotton because I want to make some more dishcloths, so that's in there. Then I have my lovely embroidery from a subscriber, which I really need to start, but again, I've just been so excited with the knitting and things. I have my extra thingamabobs, what do you call those? Extra cords for my knitting needles. And then down the bottom, I just have a large project bag that my mum made me. So I really want to keep this, and I will use this for when I make my first sweater and for larger projects. Maybe when my blanket gets a bit bigger, I will use that. And then of course I have my lovely notebook, which has my wish list of things I want to make in it. So yeah, oh, and down the bottom, I also have my knitting book. I really recommend this if you're starting to knit, if you're a beginner, because I've referred back to this so many times to learn new stitches. And then right down the bottom, I just have my laptop, which I pretty much only use to edit YouTube videos, so it just lives down the bottom. So yeah, this is kind of like my little craft trolley. Well, it is my craft trolley. The only thing I don't keep in here is my sewing machine. That's downstairs at the moment because I'm taking a little break while I look for a new pattern. And I have one little basket downstairs that has my sewing patterns in it. I would love my sewing machine to fit on here, but it doesn't. It's just too big, so that's okay. Yeah, that's my little knitting trolley. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get dinner into the slow cooker because it's almost time to go and get the boys, and I want to leave a little bit early so I can run some errands first. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do now. Okay, so for dinner tonight we're having slow cooker cracked chicken, which is a recipe I've never made before, but I see it come up a lot on Pinterest, so I thought I would just try it. I just picked a random recipe. I will leave it linked down below, and I'm gonna make a few adjustments. I'm also making about half the recipe because it looked like a huge serving, and while I don't know if we like it, I don't really want to make that much, whereas if it's really good I will make the full amount and we can have leftovers. But anyway, the first thing I need to do is get the chicken tenderloins into the slow cooker with the cream cheese that's in the recipe. And then here in New Zealand, I can't really find the ranch dip. I don't know, you could probably get it in some American stores. but we don't have any of those close to me, so I looked on Pinterest and found kind of a DIY ripe seasoning. I don't know what that's gonna taste like. So I'm gonna put that in the slow cooker. I'm also gonna add about a tablespoon of bone broth powder and 2 courgettes that I've diced up just because I'm like that. And then once it's cooked, just before we serve it, I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of savory yeast flakes. I add these to pretty much anything that has a cheesy flavor because you don't really notice that it's there, but it's some extra B vitamins. And just for the prep, I've also cut up and cooked some bacon and some green onions. So you just add these as a topping along with some sharp cheddar cheese right at the end, and they'll warm through in the slow cooker. So yeah, I'm gonna get that on now. I'll show you what it looks like. I'm gonna serve it on hamburger buns because that's what the recipe said, and I'm also gonna have it with some baby spinach to make myself feel better about eating chicken covered in cream cheese. So yeah, I'm gonna get that on now, and then it will be almost time to leave to get the boys. So quickly before I go and get the boys, I thought I would show you a couple of the toys that we have on Luna, our cat's toy rotation. These are things that were recommended to us by our vet as different ways that we can give her some stimulation, especially when we go out. So I don't put these out every day. It's just sometimes I bring them out and they're a little bit of fun for her while no one is at home. So I will leave these linked in the description box. And I always find that the online pet kind of things websites have really good sales, so I always just subscribe to the emails if I'm looking for a particular thing on special, and then when I get an email saying that they're having a store-wide sale, I will go and buy them. So these are both from the Cat It brand, and this one, I can't remember what it's called, but you can use it for your cat's regular food if you want them to eat a bit slower. But we use it for cat treats, so we put this out every now and again, and we just put 5 or 6 treats in the top, and she uses her paw to get them out, and it's quite a good thing for keeping her entertained for a little bit. The other one is kind of harder to show you, but it's also from the Cat It brand, and it's this kind of ball maze thing, and you can take it apart into smaller pieces, so it's really easy to store, and when you set it up, you can set it up as a giant circle or all different kind of shapes, or you can just have a couple of them out. But sometimes when I go out, I set up the whole big long thing. We put some of her regular toy balls in here, so she can have more than one in here too, and she loves chasing this around. So yeah, that's 2 of the things that we have in Luna's toy rotation that we can put out when we go out, just to keep her a little bit more entertained. But now it's time for me to go. I'm gonna run a few errands and go and get the boys, and then I'll come home and show you how dinner turns out. Okay, so it's about 7 o'clock and the house is all done. I've done my nighttime reset and I am about to relax for the night, but I wanted to let you know that the dinner turned out really well. Lachlan ate about 3 of the burgers. I just made little sliders, and I also ended up making oven fries just last minute to go with them. So Lockie loved it. Tobias ate 1. He wasn't that super excited about it, but he ate it, and Mike ate about 4 or 5 of the little sliders. So it was definitely worth making. It was really rich with all the cheese, so I don't think I would have it on a regular basis, but it was definitely really good. So I will leave that recipe linked down below. And before I finish this video, I just wanted to say thank you very much to Karen for your really lovely letter. I love it's almost like a watercolor Winnie the Pooh writing paper, and the postcards from Canberra. Thank you so much. I loved reading your letter. If you'd like to send me a letter or a postcard, I would love that. My P.O Box will be down in the description box. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.